Good morning, everyone. So it's my absolute honor to welcome all of you to this session, AI Governance in the Next Frontier. So it's hosted under the Worldwide University Network Research Project. And this event, I think, is going to be like relaxed and we can chit chat and ask some question after the session. And we have many audience from, various faculty under the University of Mahidol. So today we have three leaders as a speaker from different domains to share the insight. And our moderator is going to be Dr. Sak, a senior advisor of EDTA and AIGC, who has the experience and leadership in the AI ethics and government in Thailand. And also we have Dr. Komes and Dr. Maciej, a head of Asian Government Affairs at Microsoft, and also the principal research engineer at KBTG. So please feel free to ask any question, and then we can discuss after the session. So without further ado, so let's begin the journeys of this session. So I will invite Dr. Sak to be the moderator. So the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you. สวัสดีครับ Okay. We have 30 minutes, I think, right? Okay. Our first panelist is Mr. Maciej Surowiec. Did I pronounce your surname correctly, Maciej?
Almost, Dr. Sak. We need to get you to Poland, where I come from.
Right. He's head of ASEAN Government Affairs, Microsoft, of course. The company behind ChatGPT and so on. Well, today, I mean, we are the theme is about AI governance. But before we jump into the serious matter, maybe Maciej, you probably should start with what Microsoft have been doing since ChatGPT came, in terms of, using AI to do good things for everybody, something like that,
I think that the last probably 2 years have been fascinating. I've been in the company for 11 years, so I can say that the last 2 years we've seen an acceleration that I haven't experienced before. Naturally, our partnership with OpenAI stands out, but also we're thinking about ourselves as a also supplier of infrastructure for AI for the world. So we don't work exclusively with OpenAI. You would see us hosting different language models in our cloud, and I think that that's just the approach we're taking. But naturally, the partnership with OpenAI is a flagship one, and you've seen breakthroughs kind of coming every couple of weeks and months. We integrate the technology into our product. So many of you interact with Copilot, which is our first-party solution. But importantly, we see more and more customers from financial services or healthcare or consumer services integrating APIs which access large language models to the cloud. So that's a really exciting time. We're very often asked, where's the economic value gonna appear? And we like to think about AI as a general purpose technology that's gonna proliferate or diffuse across the economy, the same way as electricity or the printing press has created the entire economic stack. We think that a similar economic stack is going to be created on top of the foundational general purpose technology of AI, and that's probably something what we can double click in a moment as well. But that's kind of our thinking here.
Well, okay, I think that's the good side. Now we come to not actually the bad side, but the concern side. That's why we the word AI governance, has been, in during the past 2 years, from my experience, it's like, okay, everybody has to do AI governance. But for Microsoft, well, of course, you have to do something about that. So what specific measures has Microsoft implemented to ensure that your products and your services align with global standards for ethical AI governance? I would like you to focus, probably tell us, when we talk about global standards, do we really have the global standards right now, or just some of them, when we talk about global standard on AI, there's so many, how can you choose which one, something like that, thank you.
No, absolutely. It's kind of funny. Let me go back a couple of years. I remember when we released, probably somebody will need to keep me honest here, probably 5-6 years ago, Responsible AI Framework, which outlined 6 principles. That was great at the time. It was somewhat, we're one of the first companies thinking this way. It was great to create that framework. But very quickly, we started getting asked questions like, okay, what does it actually mean in practice? And that's when the real world started, because if you get the policy person and an engineer in the room, like they don't speak the same language, even if they both speak English or French or Chinese. How do you translate the principle of accountability or fairness into actually engineering work? And that was really a big question. And one, that's why we started working on a responsible AI standard. We released recently V2, so version 2 of that standard, which essentially takes those principles and then develops set of actual actionable measures that the engineers are expected to implement when they're building products. Think about things like developing impact assessments when they want to actually look at the accountability. Think about creating user interface that informs about interactions with AI if we're talking about transparency. So we actually break down each of those principles into anything between 5 and 12. It's very specific engineering actions. So that's something we've been doing kind of as a company ourselves. But then kind of zooming out, and I think Dr. Saad, that was your important question, like we don't operate in isolation. There's a number of companies innovating in this space, and we would like to see some convergence or some consistency. And here I would flag probably 3 different initiatives. The first one is the work that's centered around National Institute of Standards and Technology on the AI governance framework. That was great because that allowed to kind of create a common taxonomy and framework of thinking about responsible AI for a broader industry. The second one is something that existed for a number of years, which is a partnership on AI, which allows both governments and companies interact and share best practices, learn from each other. And then finally, with the recent acceleration that you mentioned, there's probably 4 companies at this stage which are at the very cutting edge of creating what we call frontier models. And that's why we have created with those other 3 companies a Frontier Models Forum, which is an organization that is supposed to address some of the really high stakes questions, which are pretty much applicable only to the most advanced cutting edge models. And through that framework, we've been in talks with the United States government, but also with others. And I think that that's going to be a central point for some of those more advanced conversations on at the cutting edge. I don't think it's going to stop there. And naturally, we work bilaterally with different governments which are interested in regulating AI. Obviously, EDTA in Thailand is one of those organizations which has been at the forefront. I think already you're at the 3rd stage of soft laws that can frame this notion in Thailand, and that has been a very similar process in many different jurisdictions. Some of them are moving into binding regulatory frameworks. We just probably don't think that moving too fast is the right idea. We think that moving with the speed of thought perhaps is the right approach.
Oh, talking about laws, as you know, that AI Act of EU is already in effect. I mean, probably tell us, how Microsoft deal with this issue for EU countries.
Yeah, obviously, the European Commission has issued or has triggered the process, which ended up in the form of an EU AI Act, which I think has some really good elements. Probably I'm a European myself. I started my career with the company in Brussels, so spent a number of years working there with the EU institutions. And I think that what's great about that framework is that it takes a risk-based approach. And I think that conceptually this is the right way to approach it. There's very different use cases. Some of them are more high consequences than others. I think that it also creates a very kind of comprehensive set of regulatory requirements. Just I think yesterday or 2 days ago, we have released a blog post detailing our compliance efforts with the EU AI Act. I must admit that since moving to Asia, I haven't been following super closely at the nuance level, but I know that colleagues of mine are working very closely with the European Commission, especially as we're in the phase when some of the secondary regulations following EU AI Act are being developed. And I think that there's still a conversation about how will they be implemented in practice. And I think both us and other companies are working through those to understand them. And I think that the Commission is open to hear about the feedback from the industry as well.
Well, as you know, that AI Act, EU's AI Act, is evolving. Not the first day, enforcing everything. I think it's if I remember correctly, will be something like 3 or 4 years from now, right? to completing, the enforcement during, now to the next 4 years. What Microsoft have planned to interact with the government under this law? I mean, I want to know. I mean, because someday AI, Thailand is going to have AI regulation for sure. But so we can learn from what is happening right now with Microsoft and the EU. If you can share with us.
No, it's a great question, but I would zoom out here a little bit and think that we think about AI as a global issue. It's not a regional issue. It's not country specific. I think number of different kind of risks and questions that we get from governments are actually quite similar across different jurisdictions. And that's why we actually very much favor processes as the Hiroshima process that was led by Japan. And I think that, gathered number of different organizations and governments around G7 to start working through some of those complex issues, looking for a common platform, and moving kind of with a similar speed. I happen to be in Japan now. Please forgive me for having my third coffee since I had an overnight flight here from Singapore. And Japan naturally does face some of the structural challenges. Think about demographics, which is not a foreign concept in Europe where I come from. And I think governments understand that there's really some big opportunities that AI can help to address, structural, societal, and civilizational challenges, and at the same time solve some of those potentially or help accelerate their solutions. And I think that's why they have a lot of understanding that they would like to balance, the incentives for quick deployment, for actually making sure that those tools are useful with setting up some guardrails, especially for those more consequential and potentially risk of harm use cases. And I think that this is something perhaps we see proliferating around the world. You're very familiar, Dr. Sak, with the work that's happening around ASEAN. ASEAN, I was just in Bangkok last week, and ASEAN, which is Southeast Asian organization of countries here in the region, has agreed to actually expand on the scope of the working group led by Singapore under ASEAN remit, just to coordinate a little bit better the regulatory efforts. And I think this is actually a really best practice from regional organizations' perspective. So we're super supportive and we'll continue to contribute there as well.
Well, talking about ASEAN, I was informed that Malaysia has proposed to set up some sort of AI safety networking. As you know, that the UK and the US, are the leaders of, setting up this AI safety institute, and also Japan as well. Probably tell us a little bit about AI safety institute in your opinion and from the viewpoint of Microsoft. I mean, is it going to be any good or is too much work for the government, something like that? So basically, I would get a question: do Thailand need to set up AI safety institute? In your opinion?
I think that this is for the Thai decision makers to decide, and probably you're one of them. I would say, and I can't speak really on behalf of the Malaysian government, but our understanding is that their focus very much centers around capacity building in the region and sharing some of the best practices, both on the adoption and regulatory space, which is slightly different than AI Institute in this kind of more traditional sense, which focuses on benchmarking and safety testing. Like, one thing I would underline is that there's probably going to be certain number of those institutes around the world that probably not every single country will need to do it. I like to think about it the same way as you think about planes. Like, probably not every single country tests every single part of a plane before the plane can fly, from New York to Bangkok. And we would encourage the governments to think about the framework that is interoperable, recognizes, the robust work that other countries may do in this space. I know that Singapore is very aspirational in this space, and we encourage them and other governments, whether it's the UK or the US or the European Commission, to think about how they can be complementary rather than duplicate efforts. I would also note that there's a considerable kind of set of resources required, both human and compute, in order to conduct it. So we would always ask questions: what's the best return on investment, and what purpose does it serve for each government? And frankly speaking, both us and I think other companies are thinking about the risk, as I mentioned, in the global space. So you may rest assured that we're not going to differentiate from our approach to safety between Thailand or any other country in the world.
Right. Okay. Now, let's talk a little bit closer to what average user of Microsoft product would want to know. So basically, if I use Microsoft products, I mean, how can I be assured that in terms of transparency or accountability, Microsoft provides to us? For example, if how can I make sure that if I use Microsoft tool, I don't need to go through to read all the term of use, 100 items of them. I mean, how can you ensure the user in terms of transparency and accountability from your product?
I think AI, by the way, can help you digest those
exactly,
those terms of use. But I would say this: I would encourage everyone to look through the responsible AI kind of implementation standard, engineering standard, and not necessarily to become to write a PhD about this, but to understand really how we are thinking about bridging the regulatory and the kind of social political discussion with the engineering one. And I think that should provide you a little bit of extra confidence. One thing I want to emphasize that the use of AI doesn't shouldn't incentivize you to switch off your own thinking. After all, like, AI is there to support you, and I think that's one thing that we always emphasize. People should think about this as an advice, as a co-pilot rather than your autopilot. Obviously, with each generation of technology, the technology gets better and gets more accurate. Hallucinations decrease. You can fine tune the types of answers you're getting, more creative, more specific. I think that we recognize that for different use cases, you may use it differently. An artist will use it very differently than a doctor, because the consequences of a misrepresentation of facts will be very, very different. And I think that's just something that will always stay in place. Honestly, I can't imagine in a very near future that we would encourage anyone to use it as an autopilot. I think it's going to stay as co-pilot, and we would encourage people to think about this in a co-pilot mode. And frankly speaking, also as regulations and policies develop around the world, and as we see more and more convergence, some of those standards, I expect them to become just so default, and people to expect them using whichever AI technology in a country where we live. So hopefully we're not going to be the only ones kind of running there in the front, but we're going to be actually collaborating with others in the industry, so that the end user can actually think about AI as a trusted technology kind of horizontally. But also, I want to emphasize one thing, that we don't get things always right. And I think that's probably one thing we said on the outset, is that we will approach this process with a lot of humility, and appreciate that we will need to kind of have a good feedback loop. And that's part of our responsible AI process. Like, we want to get feedback, we want to kind of re-engineer and look at the benchmarks, test, and you will see us evolving. So probably there's going to be speed bumps, but those speed bumps will be very quickly mitigated. And I think that, like, if you look at the history, even from the very first release of the technology, like how quickly some of those challenges have been addressed, I was actually pretty impressed, knowing how long normally the engineering timelines are. The fact that we were able to, within 24 hours sometimes, address some of those concerns was pretty impressive from our engineer standpoint.
And for cases like healthcare or law enforcement, does Microsoft have extra guidelines or anything for this sensitive sector or not?
Yes, we do. Actually, we have set up already a couple of years ago a process to address what we call sensitive use cases. Think about them as those where there's a risk of harm to a human, or think about those when there's what we call consequential denial of service. So, for example, when you get refused a visa or get refused a loan. And we think that those specific use cases scenarios, they warrant actually extra attention and a review. So we set up what we call EDTA, which is AI and Ethics Board. It has a more specific abbreviation, but that's essentially a body that from our end reviews those most specific kind of sensitive use cases. And we also sometimes decide that we don't want to do that. We think that there's a number of use cases which we call them restricted use, which we will not pursue. The fact that AI could do it doesn't mean it should do it. And I think that you will also encounter those areas as well, about where the company decides just not to go. And I think that that's something what perhaps for the better end of the mankind.
Okay. The last questions would be for general users, especially matters about bias and fairness. I mean, how Microsoft, view this matter and try to reduce, bias and increase the fairness, especially for general user. I mean, if you have anything or any framework or any, details that, as who use Microsoft every day now, we should know.
Absolutely. And this forms part of the impact assessment. So when we work with the engineers and we implement the response standard, like we want to make sure that they build a feedback loop and that we actually have a way to get feedback about any potential bias that may occur in the use of an algorithm. And then we can re-engineer that kind of whenever this is being encountered. But I would also expand more than that. We spoke a lot about our first party product, but as I mentioned initially, our big part of our work is work with organizations that adopt technology at the back end. So you may be using a banking app or a consumer retail app, and you may not even know that there's our technology powering at the back end. So in order to help those organizations address the same question, because some of that may be addressed at the foundational level, but there's a technology stack. And I think that some of those may appear at different levels of technology stack. So we have actually engineered a dashboard that allows those organizations to have insights into the benchmarks of their particular use case so that they can reflect and adapt that as needed. We thought that this is really important because it's not easy for every organization that is not a technology company to actually go in the nuance and really review kind of literally the code level. So instead, we developed a dashboard that provides a bit more of a natural interface, especially for the business users and people who are not technologists to understand. And that, from what I'm hearing, this is being used for those using our machine learning services, using our AI services. And I feel like it's probably the right trajectory. So there's no a single silver bullet. I think it's just something what we need to address at all layers of technology stack. And that's something what I would just generally leave people with a concept of the fact that AI brought to the market is not a single layer. It's a number of different layers. There's a data centers technology. There is a machine learning acceleration software. There is the large language models. On top of that, there's software applications being built. There's a user interface eventually. And I think that it's important for people to understand that there's different organizations having responsibilities at different levels of technology stack. Something that has been recognized in cybersecurity that is a shared responsibility. And I think the same way you should think about the responsible AI as a shared responsibility between different organizations.
We only have 6 minutes left. I have one last question. Okay. Perhaps just want you to give us your opinion. With the rapid development of AI, it is said that this year is going to be the year of agents, AI agents, agentic AI. I mean, of course, the benefit is tremendous, but how about the risk? And what do you think agentic AI would make an impact this year, from your opinion? And if you can tell us, what's the plan for AI agent from Microsoft, if possible? we want to hear from you too. Thank you.
I think, Dr. Sak, you're putting me in a spotlight in a very comfortable position, because just this morning I was at the airport and watching some of the demos from our friends at OpenAI, which has released, I understand, an agentic AI and that may kind of take actions. And I think some of the demos were really, really impressive. I suspect that is going to be a trend this year. So we have seen from our end, integration of Copilot as a team member at different levels. We started with note-taking, then we actually integrated more into the workflows. I suspect that will continue and that will only accelerate now. I don't think that actually from responsibility perspective, that differs very much from the interaction with a chatbot or with interaction or integrating technology in different levels, because it comes down to the fact that it is your co-pilot. So even in the demo that I saw OpenAI was showing, when the table was not available for a particular hour, it actually asked the user, but like, hey, by the way, do you want this other restaurant or do you want this other hour? Eventually, it's your call. And I think that that's really important to remember, that it is a technology that's supposed to kind of support you and empower you and not replace you. And I think that just conceptually, that's something we'll continue emphasizing. And I think that agentic is just going to expand on the scale of possibilities for sure. It's going to probably integrate even more into kind of the intuitive use of technology in daily lives. I think that the fact that it can take control over your browser, it's pretty impressive. But it shouldn't kind of switch off your mind and your own decision making either.
And because of these, amazing capabilities of agentic AI, do you think your current governance framework is sufficient or not, or do we need to, improve it to accommodate this, this amazing new feature?
I have no insight specifically in their work, but I have no doubt that my colleagues in their headquarters are working on the version 3, version 4, version 5 of the responsible AI standard. I mean, it is gonna change. It's gonna change in line with the way technology is changing. It's gonna change because we're getting feedback from the governments, from the users, and I think that that's something what is not gonna be static. The fact that we have released another kind of version of that is just a proof of that it is something what's gonna evolve. And I think that just make our work more interesting. That's like, I think that like we'll just have many more interactions to discuss those issues and help to advise some of our governments as well.
For my EDTA team, it means that we're gonna have to do more guidelines
but
in the near future. But it's fine. I mean, yeah, we have to anyway, right?
It's fascinating, and I think that this is just not the last technology wave. Actually, I increasingly realize that the technology that absorbs some of my attention, especially in places in Singapore, is quantum computing. I think people are really excited about opportunities it brings. But similarly, as AI, think about acceleration of science. That's something what's a big focus for them. We have just actually had a breakthrough in August, being the first company having a stable level 2 quantum machine, which can help advance research in chemistry or biology. It's pretty impressive work, and I think that combining that with the algorithmic progress that happened on with large language models is pretty impressive, and it's gonna be an interesting year for sure.
Well, because we only have 2 minutes left, then we open the floor for question. I think we have one question. Let me read from Kun Turian. He or she said, I would like to know which tactics or guidelines are used during model training to reduce hallucination from AI, especially Copilot from Microsoft. A good question.
No, it's a great question. And I think that, like, first of all, like the newer models, they already suffer much less with hallucinations. So that's kind of number one point I'm going to say, just that the underlying technology develops. The second piece I'm going to say is that one thing we integrated very early on in Copilot, you will see that there's different modes from the creative to the much more factual one. And because the models operate slightly differently, they have slightly different kind of grounding, meta prompting, like they already kind of deliver what the user expects. And some people think that like you actually want to have the model that delivers pure facts alone, but that is not really the case, especially for those creative industries, which actually require a little bit of hallucinations because that's part of their job. And I think that just having technology that is fit for purpose here is really important. I suspect like this is not I wouldn't say this is a challenge that is kind of not something that cannot be overcome. It's actually quite the opposite. Like even the progress we've seen over 2 years, which is like very short period of time, reducing hallucinations. Like I was using Copilot a couple of times this morning. I must say I haven't identified a single thing that kind of raised my eyebrows, which was not the case initially early on. So I think that we already see a lot of progress there. And going back to the technology stack, when we see different organizations actually adopting, like OpenAI APIs through our Azure cloud, like they also use their own grounding and meta prompting, grounded in their own resources, in their organizational kind of documents in order to kind of stay on facts as much as possible. So I think combinations of those different tools kind of improves accuracy dramatically.
Okay. I think we reached our time. Anyone would like to ask a question, please raise your hand or anything. Okay, I think it seems to be the last question for you, Maciej.
It's great.
Okay.
Thank you, Dr.
Yeah.
Sak. I mean, as I said, I have just arrived to Japan, about to start holidays. So if in case you were wondering why I'm in winter clothing, if I'm based in Singapore, but great to speak with you again, and it was good to see you in Bangkok last week.
Yeah, thank you very much for joining us, and hope that next time we can do this again. It's always very, very, interesting talking to you. And as you mentioned that, in terms of governance, it's evolving all the time. We have to adapt with it, something like that. Okay. So thank you, Maciej. ขอบคุณครับ Have a good time.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, our next speaker is Dr. Komes. สวัสดีครับ สวัสดีครับ Right. Dr. Komes Chandavimol, he's a principal research engineer at KBTG. Perhaps you could start with tell us what KBTG is. What is your organization and what is your role in this organization?
Okay,ครับ. Okay. Actually, I prepared for the slide.
Okay, sure.
Let me introduce myself first. I'm Komes, and I'm principal AI evangelist. So I am in the position that drive the AI transformations, and mostly to upskill everyone to ready for the AI, include the responsible AI and also productivity AI for everyone. So the first thing that we do, we need to uplift everyone's skill to ready for the AI. The other part is we plan to do some of the transformation strategies that cover all the AI use case portfolio and reduce the risk, including the governance. So that is the other part that I do. Okay, and let me share the slide what I prepare, so and then we can discuss about the slide.
Okay, please. Share ได้ไหมครับ? Can you share your slide?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Oh, just a minute. I have to. Oh, I have to reconnect just a minute.
Okay, while we are waiting for Dr. Komes to come back, let me tell you a little bit about EDTA AI governance activities. Okay, this year around at the end of June this year, Thailand would co-host with UNESCO the Global Forum on the Ethics of AI. It's going to be a 2-day event in Bangkok. And it's gonna be one of the biggest AI governance events in the world. Okay, and if you are interested, please, follow EDTA website or EDTA Facebook page. Okay, to see the details of the event. Okay, and just give you Dr. Komes, are you ready now?
Yeah. Let me share the slide again.
Okay, please.
Okay. You see my slide? Okay.ครับ. Okay. So what is KBTG? So we are the part of we are a part of the Kasikorn Bank. So Kasikorn Bank established 1945, and then KBTG is for technology unit for the K Bank. So we established like 2016, and at that time we also have the unit called K Lab or the KBTG Lab, which is focused only for the innovations. And at that time the innovation is the machine learning and big data. So we start to use the AI since 2016. So what we do for the AI at that time until now is we use the responsible AI from the start at the approach, what we do things. Firstly, if you remember, like in the past, when we do machine learning, like predictions or deep learning, we use the concept called explainable AI, that when we build a machine learning and we give it to the customer, we need to be able to explain how it works and what is the reasons behind the machine learning and give to the customer in order to customer to use the result from the algorithms, and then he or she can, let's say, call to sell the product or something. We have like marketing models at that time in 2017. In the same time, 2019, we have entered the sandbox, and we work collaboratively with the Bank of Thailand to put one of our old model into the sandbox. At that time, the model we call the PPEG, or the model that can predict the land, condo price and house price. And then we continue to be in the sandbox for several years. But the trigger point is the ones when the 2023 that the ChatGPT come in. So we need to review all the governance and all the skill and everything, because the generative AI. So in the last 2 years, 2023 and 2024, we do a lot of things about the responsible AI, upgrade the definitions, and also retraining, and work with the K-Bank to do the AI governance, and also launch the new policy. So this is kind of the KBTG and responsible AI and governance journey. So and then for example, what we did in the last 2 years is in 2020 we have the framework with Bank of Thailand about AI and machine learning framework, and we identify the risk, the model level of the risk, the security infrastructure that we need, and then we align with the Bank of Thailand. And last year we review several like guidelines, like the EU one, from EDTA and from the NIST, in order to upgrade the framework that we have. And last year we upgrade our framework to align with the EU, like we have like different risk level, and also revamps the process of ingest the use case and then monitor the AI use case. This is about the framework and the use case about the AI. On the other hand, we know that the people in KBTG and need want to do AI, but we cannot cover at everyone. So we start with the recreate the KBTG AI principle for everyone, whoever who can use AI assistant, whoever to do AI use case or AI policy, they need to abide by the four principle. The first one is human first AI, which we will not build AI to replace humans. So this is our first principle. The second one is we will allow you to agile and experiment AI, so you can use a tool, you can test the new tool, but you need to be careful, and you need to learn after you use it, and then share it to the others. So we encourage everyone to use a new tool with the minimum risk. Once we have the knowledge, we need to build a trustworthy AI. So everything is around the trust to the customer. And when we build AI innovation, we need to build a trustworthy AI. And the last thing is we need to do AI for sustainability, so we will not create new debt to the company. So this is kind of the principle that we use it for a few years now, that whoever use the tool, whoever do the projects, they need to abide by this one. And the last thing is we have our visions to do human first, AI first transformations. And then we also have the track that we're going to focus like people, organization, process, and upskill people or something like that. So basically this is what we did in the last 2 years about the AI at KBTG ครับผม so this is like an overview how we survive in the last 2 years after the ChatGPT ครับผม
Okay, thank you very much. Okay,
ครับ
I think my first question would be, since you have been doing it for at least 2 years, what is the most challenging in doing this?
I think the most challenging in doing this is the thing that everything is come very fast. Like we have a guideline every day.
Right.
We have the new model every I think Gartner said every 3 years we have the new model. So right now we need to be ready and learn the new things. And then for the governance point of view, we don't know how we govern yet because we need to learn first. So our lesson learned right now is to try to try and learn, and then to build the governance and around that.
Right.
And one more thing this year that I found is I cannot learn alone now because it's too fast. So I have to have a partnership or I have to learn from the others. So right now I think we try to collaborate with the academics and with the research or with the with other partners to learn and adapt ourselves.
I mean, in terms of making sure that your people in your organization, I mean, they should understand and they should realize how important the AI governance. I mean, is it difficult for you to, educate them, especially for management people, something like that?
So we do two things. We have the upskill programs that thanks to the management that it require everyone to study last year. So basically we create the programs like first of all everyone need to have the domain knowledge first, because if you want to do AI to translate to Vietnamese and you don't know how to speak in Vietnamese, you don't need to use AI for this. You need this translation. So what we do is we gonna focus on first domain knowledge. The second one, productivity AI, and then responsible AI. So this is a required course for everyone. And for the management, like the others company, some management are the early adopter. They use ChatGPT already. Some management they may be too busy to try the new tools. So we have the AI for management as well. But eventually it's still like some gaps for some management to be behind the others, but we try to cover everyone.
Well, in terms of AI risks, which I mean, because of AI is getting more and more new capabilities. In your opinion, I think what would be the most concerns in terms of trying to manage AI risks in your opinion?
Yeah, I think there are. I think the most concern right now is the one that facing the customer. Like at the branch or any application that the user use. So that is the most important thing. That's why our risk assessment gonna focus on the first one is if anything you do AI that touch customer, that is a high risk that you need to go to several steps before you start it. But if you do the internal use case or internal thing that affect or internal employer or employees, you allowed to do that, but you need to do in the playground.
Right.
So we separate, because if you touch the customer, it's gonna be more dangerous.
Right. I give you an example. I mean, for example, if I don't know about KBank, using chatbot to your customers. I mean, if somebody said, I'm gonna use generative AI to do customer bot. Would you recommend them, or
Uh,
would you tell them
okay,
to do it
so
something? You see what I mean?
yeah. So basically, for our AI landscape, we haven't used the generative AI in our chatbot yet. So right now it's in the internal, we use generative AI in our chatbot, but outside we only use NLP. So our in-house NLP is like check the bad words and just predict the intent, which is very accurate. So we just use about that first because in the banking business, if we give the wrong advice once, it gonna affect a lot. So if we approve someone to get the loan for 10 millions and it's not the right thing, so it gonna damage the bank very much. So we haven't used the chatbot yet, but what we're trying to do is we try to develop the generative AI to support the staff. For example, like what is a script that he or she gonna use to talk to the customer.
Right.
So we still need the like human touch before the AI reach to the customer.
Right,
So
right.
we have human, yeah.
Right. Which is my next question in terms of human agency, human in the loop. And, right now, I think the word is human in charge. I mean, how KBTG lay out this, roadmap, in terms of let AI working with human. I mean, what is your roadmap?
We don't have a roadmap yet because agentic AI has just come a few months ago, right? But what we used to do is when we use machine learning in practice. For example, if we predict the price of the condo, right, or the house, we need a person to evaluate the price first before we make sure that price is reasonable. So we always have a human in the loop. The other part that we try to use is the other part that we trying to do is this one. I don't have it here. The other part is we try to, okay, here. So we have one use case that for the asset or for the condo or the house that the customer gave back to us. And but because they don't have money to give back, right? So we need to resell the asset. But when we resell the assets, let's say the old house, right? The new customer not impressed with that. So we use a generative AI to make it more beautiful like this.
Right.
So the new customer know that if he or she buy the house, he's gonna get back the good investment.
Right.
Okay, so we do this, but we point it out like, okay, this image is from AI, it's not the real.
Okay.
But
the customer get the idea.
Yes, just the idea. Yes, just the idea that if they invest, if they buy it, they're gonna redecorate it and then resell it.
Okay.
So that is the use case that we're trying to do.
Right. I mean, when I ask about human agency, do your regulator, of course, the Bank of Thailand, do they have some sort of comments, recommendation, and or guideline or not?
For right now, we do not have any guideline for that yet.
Okay.
But we do not have yet, and I think we just in the experiment phase because let just to tell the truth that for agents or for AI agent, for agentic AI, different people understand it differently.
Right.
So right now we try to educate that, okay, this is an agent, this is a chatbot, this is agentic. So this is we try to educate first.
Right. Now, I mean, for your users, your customers, I mean, how KBTG communicate with your customers in terms of AI related products to them. Do they need that your product is AI enabled or not? Something like that.
Not normally we don't have the AI product yet. So we have but if we have, we need to declare first that this is from the AI.
Okay. Right.
And we just try to create a culture that when you use AI to do something in internal, you just declare that you use AI. We have a guideline. We have a guideline when you use the AI or AI assistant in internal. You need to keep the prompt, and you need to declare that you use AI.
Okay.
So that the culture that we try to do internal first. So everyone that use AI need to declare themselves.
Right. Talking about your employers, I mean, do they feel that they're gonna be replaced one day, or I mean, in terms of job displacements, I mean, do your staff, your people feel that in one day perhaps they will get replaced by AI? I mean,
not not yet because last year we just mostly present like co-pilot, like assistant, right? So and we also have the principle that we will not build anything replace humans. So that is a first step that everyone can be more confident about things. But this year when we we said that we're gonna go like a lot in the agentic AI this year. So right now we try to develop the communication plan to get more trust from the staff first.
Right.
Because right now, I don't know, maybe myself, because I'm concerned about people concerned about AI more than to build a new AI.
Right. And you talk about agentic AI or AI agent, as you know that this year many people believe that it's going to be the year of agentic AI. In your opinion, especially from your work, do you think this is going to make a dramatic impact, or it's just another buzzword? Do you think it's the real thing?
I think firstly is there are two points. The first point is when we talk about AI, when we talk about agent, right? We create awareness for everyone that it is easy to use. So everyone gonna jump to the AI and use it. So the first thing that this year everyone gonna jump and try it.
Right.
So everyone gonna jump, try it, and then post on the internet that he or she get the first agent, right? But that is like a demo first. So I think agentic AI this year can be agentic AI for the personal use. I think that is possible.
Right.
And in order to do agentic AI, or I mostly like to say like anything AI, right? It requires the most important thing is the domain knowledge or the, because the domain knowledge can review the data to put the quality data into the AI, and to put the quality prompt into the AI to get the quality result.
Right.
So basically, I think this year, agentic AI for personal use gonna be popular. But but when you try to put agentic AI into public or into the bigger scale, it require a lot of things from communications, from use case base, and from the control the risk. I think it can be some use case, but it may not be a lot.
Right. I mean, and in terms of upskill, reskilling your staff, I mean, do you have any plan or a roadmap for them?
Yeah, we right now thanks to last year that we also already have the AI literacy for everyone, so everyone have the foundations, right? So this year we're gonna have the program like AI builders that they can build the agents. But that agent is gonna be within the playground.
Okay.
And he or she cannot build agents that touch the customer yet.
Right. So basically, your strategy is try everything inside your organization first.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Sure,
just try first.
Okay, and that's a good strategy. Yeah.
And I think even in many managements, I think they try to learn by themselves too. They try to build, so that is a good thing that even me, I try to learn how to build it. So that is the best thing to learn the AI.
Right. Somebody said that is agent AI agent is probably going to be our digital twin.
Yeah.
Okay. We almost reached the end of this section. We have two questions from Kun Thirawat. Okay. The first question is how to raise the same awareness of using AI ethically to public, and lesson learned from KBTG internal staff.
Okay. Internal staff, we will proactive communicate about responsible AI. That's the first thing, and we also send the guideline how to be safe for the AI.
Right.
And right now, what we're trying to do is we encourage everyone to be the next level, not to be the consumer of the AI. We try to have everyone to be the builder of the AI. So once he or she understand how to build it, so he or she learn more about AI and hopefully they can be more responsible.
And then communicate to your customer, right?
Yes.
Right. Okay. And the second question is that well, we have three questions. The second is from Kun Thirawat as well. If we miss year 2024 and start using AI in 2025, what do you suggest to start? Shall we jump to agent? That's a good question.
I think if you missed the last year, I think it's okay to catch up, but you need to focus on two things. The first is the foundation of AI that everyone need to know. The next one is to keep up on the how to apply the agents, how to apply to your use case. But you don't need to jump to agent without any foundations.
Right. So I think we are talking about not only AI governance. Now we have to go deep down to agent, right? Agent governance, something like that. As and Dr. Komes also said about it's moving very fast. I mean, how I know you said that is keep up with the rapid change of AI. What do you suggest to audience today? Because it's moving very fast. How can we keep up with these new things happening every week, something like that? What's your personal experience in dealing with this matter?
I think I still cannot find the answer yet because I still cannot catch it, because like this morning there are many things about AI, like from
the operator
from many things. So I think what we can prepare is we can prepare to apply AI to ourselves to speed up our knowledge discovery. So we need to be ready and like Andrew Ng said a few days ago, he said the most important skill right now is the communication ability to communicate with computer to do whatever you want. So you need to think fast and then communicate to AI to do things. That the concept, but very difficult to do.
We get another question regarding AI agent. The question is, how can we make sure about the data privacy if we use AI agent in organization?
Okay. It depends. It depends on the data privacy because of the agents, or is a data privacy because of existing activities. For
Okay.
example, if someone have the file on the shared drive and he or she put it into the public access, right? So that is the risk that normally no AI gonna have a risk too. So that one can be resolved by the traditional one.
Right.
But for the AI agents, the trend right now is to use AI to guardrail the AI.
Right.
But I don't know how to do it. But they say we need to build AI to agent to detect another agent now.
Right. I mean, in your opinion, if I may ask, what would be the first AI agent used in KBTG?
For it, the first agent that we're gonna use is the one that is a personal agent.
Right.
So
doing what?
I'm sorry.
Doing what? What is this agent?
Oh, okay. So right now we try to grab the champions within the KBTG, right? And just try to let them pick the document that they think that they know it well.
Right.
And then put it into the platform and ask and make the agent for him themselves. For example, like if they do the analytics, look up something in the Excel every morning or something like that. Or if they need to compare the resume every morning, or if they need to review the contract or something. So at least with this like three example, we can have 3 use case. Right. So right now we try to automate the small thing, and then once we have an agent to resolve the small thing, right? We gonna use many agents to resolve a bigger thing. And on the other hand, there's the group of the researcher to research on multi-agents orchestration work. And then hopefully everything gonna combine.
Okay, I think we are out of time now. Okay.
Yep.
It seems that we don't have any more questions. Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Komes. Okay. สวัสดีครับ
สวัสดีครับ ขอบคุณครับ
Okay, to the audience, I think today we have a very fruitful session on AI governance, coming from people from Microsoft and Dr. Komes from KBTG, who are actually doing the real things. So I hope that this session give you a broad view of how we do AI governance, and also in terms of learning the real experience from KBTG. So that's it. Thank you very much. Go back to อาจารย์ทิพย์ครับ
Okay, thank you very much for the audience, and all the material today we will summarize and share to the community. So thank you, Dr. Sak, and speakers, and everyone who joined the session. So hope you have a good lunch today. Bye bye.
Okay, thank you. สวัสดีครับ บ๊ายบาย